Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Again, feel free to log into your Houzz Pro account as we go through. That will help you just follow along and really get the most out of the session. Today is day 3 of our Designer Academy. So we do these twice a year, usually once in the spring and once in the fall, to give a full overview of all the features that we have in Houzz Pro. As you know, we're always making updates and adding new features. So it's always helpful to get a refresh and walk through. My name is Katie, and I'm here with my colleague Shoshana. We're both on the product marketing team, so I think we've worked with a lot of you before, but we spend a lot of time talking to our designers and understanding how they're using Houzz Pro, getting to know your business, and then also translating that feedback into our engineering and our product teams to make sure that we're developing the right features to help you grow your business. Now, Shoshana mentioned we're always having webinars and tutorials and just trying to make sure that you're really getting the most out of Houzz Pro. So with that, we can go through the agenda of what we will cover today. As I mentioned, we will send out a recording of today afterwards, and if you weren't able to join the last few days, those will all be available to you as well. So today is all around procurement. So we will talk about our purchase orders, how you can use those in your projects. Then we'll get into the selections tracker. We'll cover our budget feature and how that can help you set the budget for your projects and stay aligned to the budget as you go through. We'll talk about our team chat feature to help you basically improve communication with your team throughout all of your projects. We'll wrap up with Google Drive integration. So as always, if you have questions as we go through, feel free to add them into the chat and we'll do our best to cover them.
Amazing. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Let me pull up. One second. Need to pull up the right screen. Okay. Just give me a sense that if you can just tell me if you're seeing everything.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, amazing. So welcome again to the webinar. We're going to be talking about procurement. And as you can see here, I'm on the Robles Residence California project. I'm inside the project page, so that page should be pretty familiar to you. And yesterday and the days before, we talked about really the first phase of the project. So when you're in the concept development and everything around sourcing and client presentation, we talked about creating selection boards and getting really those selections finalized and then moving into proposals. So here I want to show you how you're going to be able to move from those proposals when you invoice them, when you receive payments to procurement. So we're going to start with, so I'm going to go into, for example, this proposal. So let's go slightly up. I'm here. So this should be pretty familiar to you. And what you're going to be able to do is easily create purchase orders. And what happens is you're going to be able to, for example, click some items here. I want to create purchase orders for the lighting. And then I'm going to be able to easily create purchase orders. So what's something that maybe you don't know about is that you can click right here. And whenever you click right after you select, you're going to see a menu with a bunch of actions. Here I'm selecting, but let's say if I unselect, just to show you, and I do click right also, you can see I have so many different items. So sometimes some of our designers don't know about this cool trick, so just wanted you to know about that. But let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a purchase order for the selected items right here. So I'm gonna click here, and it's gonna already choose the vendors, and I'm gonna create the purchase orders. So right here, I just want also to point out that every time you're on a document, you're going to see this column that always shows you the link docs here. So it tells me, okay, this item is also on a proposal. It's also on that invoice. So just for you to know about that as well. And when you're on the proposal, you'll also have that column. You can, of course, hide it, right? And just keep it on the edit mode, but so that it's for you easier maybe to navigate between different documents. So here, whenever you create a purchase order, everything is going to carry automatically for you from all the information from the proposal. And especially if I'm going into the item overview, I also want to point out that you have a client description, but when you click the items, everything that you clicked when you were sourcing, everything that was entered, and if you had a different vendor description, it's going to be the vendor description that's going to carry over from the previous document to the purchase order. And of course, here, for example, I don't have the SKU number, but when you're clipping all the information and sourcing all your products, and everything that you have in there, of course, will be documented always here for you. Something else that I want to point out for those purchase orders is that you're going to be able to change the address. So here, for example, I have the project address, but maybe you want to send some of the items to a receiver. So you're going to be able to either have it like, saved it as a vendor or add a custom address. So you're going to have that flexibility. What's really great as well is that you're going to see right after, those purchase orders are connected with the selection tracker. And whenever you update the status right here of the items on a purchase order, or if you update the statuses on the selection tracker, we're going to get there. Everything is connected and everything is going to be updated automatically for you. Okay, so here I also want to point out that you can, when you go down, you're going to be able to send and also log the payment right here. If you're connected with QuickBooks, this screen is going to look a tiny bit different, and you're going to be able to specify if you want to also create a bill at the same time in QuickBooks. And then here, you're going to be able to press down and keep, of course, you can fill out the terms here, attach some information, get the signature, and it really works like any other document that you have on the platform with a preview and send with the information filled out when you enter the vendor. And you can use an email template that you set as a company default. You can set company defaults right here. You can do that for any type of document and also for purchase orders. Something else I want to point out is that something that's very easy, very handy, is the ability, you're going to have the ability to merge purchase orders. So here, this purchase order is already marked as paid. But if it was not, I would be able to merge multiple purchase order, and that can be very useful. You would go to the action menu. Maybe we can see that with other purchase orders. So let's look at another one. And please, Katie, let me know if there is any questions that come.
Nope, you're good.
Okay, this one was approved already. But let me go back here. I'm gonna look at my list of purchase orders right here. And yeah, if something is like still in draft mode, not showing here for this project, but when I have something that's still in draft mode, I'm going to be able to merge purchase order, and it can be very handy when you have you want to merge multiple purchase order from the same vendor. Now, let's go into the selection tracker. So I'm going to go ahead over here, and It's okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So here we're looking at all the items from the project, and the selection tracker is really going to be your master tracking system, where all the items, all the products are going to live here. And as you can see, you're going to see right away you have different views. So if I go, let me see, maybe something is filtered. Looks a little bit, yeah, perfect. So it's going to give you really one view instead of having to go from multiple tabs and see, okay, what stage, what's this product, where is it at? It's going to give you really this command center for throughout the procurement phase. So you have different views, and they're all basically filtered view of that master spreadsheet. So in the all, you're going to see everything, and you can slide through, right? But when you're going to planning, it's going to be very helpful for the planning phase. You're going to be able to do inline editing and maybe change and specify exactly the vendor and add the description and add all the specification info. It's very easy to add any information there for all the products. When you go into financial, you're going to be able to see financial info that's going to be important to you. So for example, what's the markup, what's the profit per unit, MSRP, how much you're making. So let's look for different for products. Of course, it's more relevant than services. And you're going to be able to really track that and see that right away with clear, very easy to see the profit per unit. If of course it's green because there's profit. If something is in red, it's going to alert you right away. And you can see also for each, as you can see, for each product, it's going to tell you, okay, this is on this document, this is on this proposal, with the link right away to the proposal. You also have the link here of the product website that you can easily, if you want to check something, you're going to be able to just click and open that. And of course, the information is there is going to be as good as what you put, right? So as you clip the information and put and update that information, when you clip all the information with a clipper, everything is going to be reflected, and you're going to have more info than necessarily what I have here in this demo account. What we see is with our designers is that it's very helpful also when it gets to when you're at the procurement stage and you're at the warehouse, right? And you're going to be looking. Let me just quickly look at also. We're going to be looking at approved items, for example. You're going to be able to use all these different filters, but as you're in the warehouse and receiving different products for your project, I was talking with the designer the other day. I was telling me Houzz Pro is open with the selection tracker, and our purchasing manager is basically updating the statuses right there. So we were looking, I just want to show you, so we're looking at the lighting, right, that we did. So let's go into category, lighting, apply, right there. So I'm gonna, for example, if I start and I update and I'm gonna put a status here and I'm gonna say ordered. When I go back to the PO, so let's open it together. Can open it right from here. You see, as you can see, if you can see the second tab, right, the status was updated to order. So it really, everything is in sync to really save you time. So you don't have to start updating so many different spreadsheets and so many different documents at once. I'm just gonna pause for a second. If there is any question.
questions. So a question from Maureen. Would this be what you would use for sending an FF&E schedule to the builder?
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to show you that right after how we do it, but that's exactly what you would be using. So we're going to look at that. I want to spend some time also on the filters and the different things that you can do. So was there any other question on what we covered?
Yes, just one question. Can you share the procurement status with a contractor or a sub?
Yeah, you're going to be able to share that with the FF&E, exactly. So we're going to look at that in a few minutes. I want to show you, also want to make sure you saw the financials, right? The markup per unit and the different views, and also that you have, for example, the ability to create your own view. So you can, if you want another custom view, you're going to be able to do that. And you're really also, what's really great is that, so when we go back to procurement, what I really recommend, so let's just go into remove the lighting category for this purpose. But so as the emails come in, right, and you're at the end of the day, you got all these different emails, what I really recommend is go through and update the tracker, right? So you're gonna be, you can also, let's say we're gonna filter by specific vendor. So let's say here, I'm gonna filter here, and I can also, for example, here I just updated to here. I can also, like, let's say I'm gonna do edit right here, and this way I'm gonna be able to just say like delivered, and I can also update, right, the dates right here, and these are going to be important as well. So let's say delivery date is today, install day is Monday, right? I'm going to save that, and then everything is going to be updated. So it's also really, really great that you don't have to update one by one. You'll be able also to just bulk update items as you're getting these updates from your vendors. Another thing is you're going to be able also right here, so you have all the statuses, but you're going to be able also to create your own statuses. So if, for example, something, you have certain processes, something, there's a problem with something, or you have every design firm has their own way of working. So we wanted to really give you full flexibility. You'll be able to just create a different status and use that for your team. Another helpful thing that you can do is, I'm not sure, I'm guessing that's something that you covered before, but let me go just 1 second to the selection board of, so on the selection board, you're going to be able to create placeholders when you're during the selection process. So let's say I know that there are like some accessories for this kitchen that need to be selected, but they haven't been selected yet, right? When I go back to my selection tracker, I'm also going to be able to just use this filter and just select the placeholders that I have. And when you're meeting with the team, be able to review, okay, very quickly, what are the items that still need to be selected for this project? That also something that you're going to be able to export and review and discuss as a team. Okay, so let me show that here. We're going to be able also to organize by category. So let me just, no, 1 sec. We're going to do that question that came up. So let's say I'm selecting the lighting category, right? And I want also to make sure I'm just looking at items that were approved. And here I'm going to first select. That's something that sometimes some users, some designers might be a little bit confused about. So just pointing out, you're going to first select and you're going to export. So we're looking at this, and you have so many different details that you can choose to share or not to share, right? So here, depending if you want, for example, to send a weekly update to your client, right? You may want to have everything that's client facing, for example. And of course, and then you want to let them know about what's happening, right? To give them this update on a weekly, maybe every Friday or every Monday, you're giving them an update of where everything stands. But if you're trying also to create that schedule for your contractor and for the team working with you and the subs, what's really cool, I'm pointing out to you at the product link and QR code that you're going to be able to select, and then you just press download and it's just going to be generated for you. Now I want to show you how that looks like, because I already pulled it up right here. Right here. So let me know if there's any question. But basically, of course, with the updated status, and imagine you'll have the specific date, and then you're gonna have a QR code that links to the right link with the install note or all the information that you want to be able to share with your team who's doing the subs who are doing the install. Very important for install day. And you can do it by room, right? But you can also do it, let's say you want to pull out the lighting, right? So here I selected lighting and I also organized it by room. But you can also do it, per each category, and really you have full flexibility. Now, let's say I want to share a client report. You're going to be able to use the same, right? You're selecting the items and you're sharing this information, and it's really best practice to share that information ahead of time with your client. If they're asking you where it is, maybe it means that there's an opportunity to share more often, right? We're all addicted to the updates. We're used with Amazon to updates all the time, and I'm sure you're getting always calls from your clients. So this is going to be a tool for you where you're going to be able to create those reports and share them and really keep your client informed throughout the project. So going back here, Katie, are we getting any questions?
There was just one question back on selection boards. If you could show again how to add a placeholder.
Oh, okay. Actually, let me go right here. Share this tab. Okay. So here I'm on my selection board. And here, when you create an item, when you create an item right here, in my item, you're going to have the ability to create a placeholder right here. So of course you can always, and you're going to also be able to pull items that you might have saved also in your placeholder library. Placeholders are very useful because it's going to allow you in situation like this, for example, not everything needs to be selected all at the same time. But you also want to be able to create templates, really, to scale, to scale, to create scalable systems for your team, make sure that nothing is forgotten, right? So when you can create placeholders and then save as a template, save this selection board as a template, and then for each project, of course, you'll be able to replace this placeholder. But let me show you. So for example, here, I'm going to create a placeholder. So let's say I want, for example, in the art category, and I want to painting, right? What's really cool is you can also generate a quick image. You can, of course, you can use AI to do that. It's really really sleek, but you can also, of course, update your own image and add, of course, a description, etc. So let's say we're gonna, oh, sorry, here. And I'm gonna just pull it to the right section. I'm gonna move it, add to section accessories. For example, you can have, of course, have a section art, and it's just really, you have full flexibility here. And when the time comes, right, when you want, you're going to be able to also easily replace it with an item from your library, or you can even go in here and, let's say, category art, apply. Okay, I don't have something here, but maybe for the let's just for the exercise. This is not the case, but I just want to show you that I can just replace a placeholder. You saw I just dragged it, and then it's going to alert me if the cost is more than if there is saved information, for example, and there was, of course, my painting, there was no cost right there, but it's actually what you would want to do is of course to put a cost. So when you go, you create a placeholder, you put the cost type, and of course you put the cost right there. Okay, let me know if there is more question about this. When I go back to again, when I go back here, if I clear all, I just want to show you again that you can quickly, you're going to be able to update. Let me refresh right there and right here. So I can quickly have a quick view of, okay, what are the placeholders? And then, of course, also I can just, as we said before, I'm going to select and then export. Okay, let me know if there is any questions right here. Let me show you.
We're good on questions. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
Awesome. Okay, great. So now I just want to show you also when you organize or when you filter, right? You're going to be able to filter or organize by room, right? So here I have the breakfast nook, and down there I have the kitchen. It's going to give you really a bird's eye view of everything that's going into a room. Very useful. We showed and we looked at the category, right? So think accessories, art, lighting, finishes, etc. Very helpful also when you work as you're working with subs and contractors. Of course, vendor, right? So you want to be able to filter by vendor and then update, right? Do the bulk update and update the statuses as you're receiving acknowledgement from the vendor and from your suppliers, from your vendor, and then also updates on shipping, delivery date, etc. And of course, we talked about the placeholders, and we looked at the export and really using this tool not just as a command center for everybody in the team to be on the same page about where everything was the status on everything, but also to use this as for communication purposes, right? So that you don't have to create another report and pull items from different places and create a new spreadsheet every time. You're using your live document, your master document, everybody is on the same page, and you export it and you share that information with the relevant information that you need with your client and your vendor. So we looked at the QR codes. I want to also point out that when you're looking, you have different ways of looking at the information, because it's a lot of information and can be maybe a little bit overwhelming. So you're going to have here where you're looking is stack, but you also have the flat information. So really a little bit more like a spreadsheet, right? In any case, you can always scroll back and forth. You're also going to be able to create custom views. So right here, I'm clicking on here, and this is the same little icon that you see everywhere. Also, when you work on purchase orders or proposals, invoices, every time, if you want to, you always have the ability to customize the column and really choose what works for you. So here, it tells me that I can customize the view. So you can toggle on and off different columns. And you can also add a new custom field. So, and that can be really useful if, for example, you want to, you have something, you have specific details, and you would want to be able to create, like any type of fields that you would want. Or if you want to create a view, for example, that's just for install day, you're going to be able to just really play with this and add whatever is needed. So really, I recommend that you really use it, and the more information that the more also you use it, the more you're going to be able to really see how powerful it can be for your team. And it's also really helpful when you go into the financials again to really keep an eye on, okay, am I doing, what's my profit per unit for this? And of course, the export, we looked at the different export, but you also, you're going to be able to export as an Excel as well. In addition, when you go into your companies, I want to talk about another important item, which is categories. As you saw here, what we did is really we used the categories a lot, and the categories are going to be super helpful for you to track and then share everything with the relevant sub and partner. So you want to make sure that those categories right here are really cleaned up. So sometimes it can be a little bit tedious, but that's where you go. You go into categories, companies, and then you make sure that everything is up to date. You can go, if you, sometime you might have some duplicates, so you can just archive right here and edit. And then those categories, they're going to really carry over through everything, and you're going to be able to use them for the selection tracker, but also for your budget, and we're going to see that in a second. Anything else that maybe I haven't mentioned?
Just one question, Shoshana. Can the QR code be customized? Like if you only wanted it to include specific components of the product, for instance?
That's a good question. I believe that it's based on the link that you put here. That's what's going to be, that's where that link is going to be turned into the QR code. So I recommend, maybe if there is something specific, depending, maybe it's a good question. Let me double check that. We can take note of who shared that question, because maybe there's a way.
Okay, great.
When you do, yeah, it's right here. So usually it's a product link, but it's actually a great feedback and great idea. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so I think what we want to move on to now is budget. So I want to show you a few things. When you're looking at how you're doing and really managing and keeping your budget on track, you're going to have a few different ways in the software. that you can be looking at. The first one is looking at your selection boards and really keeping track of the budget there. You're going to be able to set up, right, a selection board's total budget, and this one is going to be the sum of the different boards that you have. So here you're going to be able to create a budget, decide if you want to include tax and shipping costs in there, and as the items get approved, this budget bar is going to be interactive. That's something that you can use. So selection board, you can use it internally during the creative process as your team is sourcing items and really putting together the selections for the client. We have pros who like going through the selections in person, so they use the selection boards during the client meeting, and then most of the selections are being done in person. But then maybe there are a few items that are still pending, so it's very helpful to be able to just preview, share, and send that link over for the client to really have ownership and think through things and make those final selections. Some prefer to use it internally as a team and then convert those selections into a proposal or an invoice, and send that to the client that way. So everybody has their own way of working, but with the budget, you're going to be able, as a team, to keep track of, okay, are we on budget? And also, if your client is making those decisions, when they're reviewing everything, when they select items, and you decide that you want to share with them the budget, so then when they're approving the items, this bar is going to stay green or go red if they're going over budget. So that's going to be really helpful to manage expectations and really help the client understand what how the different options affect the budget differently. When you're going into the board, so I have two different boards. I set up the budget, and when I'm going into the board, this is going to be the total. Something else I can do also is create a budget per section. So I can have this and edit that section budget. So that's also something else that you're going to be able to do and play with, and really encourage you to try all the different tools. So this is one of the first way that you're going to be able to really track your budget and understand how you're doing compared to what was agreed upon. Now, we also have a budget tool right here. So it's loading a little bit. And this budget tool is going to be the information that's fed into the budget tool is really based on the document. So it's based on the proposal. Here I have my final selection and my proposals. I can decide to include markup and tax or not. I can also, I don't know if you're using change orders, but you're also going to be able to include them, and same for the purchase orders. And this is what I'm seeing here, right? All the information, what's going into the original estimated cost is the total for each item of the total from the proposals. So that's going to be fed into that original estimated. And what's going to be fed into the revised estimated or is going to be the change orders if I'm using change orders plus original estimated. Okay, so here this number is the same because I don't have change orders for this project. And then on actual, I'm going to be comparing this to the expenses and the purchase orders. And the variance is going to show you at a glance if you're over or under budget. So here, for example, I'm looking at red. Why? Because actually there is I linked that expense. So you can add expenses directly here. You can also, if you have expenses that you added from your time and expense, they're going to also show here, and you're going to be able to press here. You see it's when it shows, it's going to be an easy link. And same with the time entries. You're going to be able to add the time entries, or if you have time entries, they're going to be right there ready for you to link them. And here I had an expense that was over, right? So it's doing the calculation for me, and it's giving me the red flag. If I'm looking at concept development, for example, here, oh, sorry, right here, I have my time entries that are linked for concept development, and I know right away, okay, we're good. But we need also to be careful, and maybe I need an additional retainer if we spend that amount of hours and we're getting closer to the budget. You're also going to be able to just view by room and see how you're doing, right? And the view by room, it's really based on every time when you add a product with a clipper, or depending on the information, same for a service, you're going to be able to assign the room to it. So it's going to be organized for you right there. You're also going to be able to export that, publish to the client dashboard if it's relevant, preview and share, same as every document, everything. You always, whenever you're sharing something, we always tell you, okay, you can customize what you want, what the client can see, and then you can play with what you're sharing and what you're not sharing. Is there any question right here about this?
Nope, no questions.
Okay. Something else that I wanted to point out is when you're going to your reports. So I'm going to financials, I'm going to reports. You're going to be able to see at the bottom, you have the global tracker report. So you're going to be able to generate a report and really select like multiple projects at once, and within a certain time frame, with the relevant filters, everything that you want to see there, and you're going to be able to generate a report, and the report will be sent to like the email associated. You can change it also, and so it's going to be super useful for you to really track financials, how you're doing, and to see that with all the projects at once. So I just really also recommend using this report when you need that overview as the finance manager, the owner, the purchasing manager, be able to review everything at once, say, okay, how we're doing, what's committed, versus like what's like everything, like the status of everything, and you'll be able to play with it with a spreadsheet, and of course, because it's going to be an Excel. Okay, so anything else I wanted to point out? If I'm going back to the project, we talked about the boards a little bit, the tracker, the selections, going into purchase orders. I was pointing out that's not part of the agenda, but we added change orders. So that's a feature available that was asked by many designers. Not all designers use it, but it can be definitely useful. And also something else that maybe my colleague pointed out yesterday is on contracts, we added the ability to request a deposit from the beginning. So here it's already shared, but let me show you. Whenever I create a new contract from a template, here, and just wanted to make sure that all of you know, and I'm adding my client right here. I have the ability to request a deposit right there so that they can sign and pay and give me, and that's going to be creating a retainer for you. So right there, and the deposits are going to be in the retainers. All right. I think this is it for this part. Please let me know if there is any other question.
No, I did get a few updates though internally from our team because I checked in about that question about customizing the QR code. So that is in the works. It will be coming soon. And then we're also working on being able to clip install guides. So within the next month or few months, there should be a lot more flexibility there.
Awesome. I see also a question. I'm getting duplicate items in the selection tracker from the mood board and the selection boards. Is there a way to separate them? I'm not clear how those are duplicate items.
Yeah, I think that shouldn't be the case, right? If you use one item, it should not.
It shouldn't be duplicate if you're using, when you're adding also from the mood boards, right? You're adding the different items. They're in your project. When you source and you clip items, you can also add them directly to your selection boards. But when you clip them, they're in your project library for this specific project. You pull them into mood boards, and then they're in your selection boards as well. So it's the same item, unless you're sourcing them twice. Feel free to send me any follow-up question. I'm going to put my email right here.
Okay, great. Thank you, Shoshana. So I'm going to cover team chat. You can see my screen okay?
Yeah, great.
Okay, perfect. So we launched Team Chat maybe a year or two ago, and the benefit of this is really taking communication and putting it all in one spot. So today, a lot of you are probably using text messages, maybe you're using WhatsApp to communicate, but using Team Chat in Houzz Pro can help you keep those conversations at the project level. So for instance, if you're talking with your teammates and have a specific question about a specific item on a project, or if you are just coordinating logistics for a project, you can have that whole conversation within Houzz Pro, so it's all logged. And then we also recently added the ability to have, we call it global chat conversations. So if you want to talk to your team members just overall at the company level, not about a specific project, you can all do that now in Houzz Pro. A lot of designers are also using Slack, so it's basically taking that same functionality. So we'll look first at team chat on the project level. So here, when you're in your project, this is a dashboard. Over in the right here, you'll see project chat. So you can open that up. And then whichever team members are part of that project, you'll have access to in this chat. So let's say we want to create a new chat and I want to, this is just myself. So pretend these are your team members here. You can start a chat. And then you can add your message. And whoever is on the receiving end of that chat will get notified. You can also link files. So say you created a selection board or a proposal that you want a team member to review. So here you can tag that team member. Say, please review this. And then here where you go, I'm sorry, it's not on upload. Shoshana, where did that button go? There should be a way to link in files from Houzz Pro.
Right. I think it's when you do
when you tag.
Not the tag. Right there, it shows like the slash, not the slash. Yeah, slash. Right.
Okay, let me follow up on this. There should be a way, though, to add in files from within Houzz Pro if you wanted someone on your team to review them, for instance. You can also thread the conversation. So similar to what you would do in Slack, for instance, you can reply directly, you can add an emoji, you can like it, all of that. So again, as you're having conversations on that project, it will all be tracked here. So in 3 weeks, when you're trying to remember what you talked about, you can go back and look at it. You can also have multiple conversations within one specific project. So if you only wanted to talk to, say, one team member instead of everyone, you can make that a smaller chat. We also have a global chat. So again, if you want to communicate more broadly than about just a specific project, if you go here in the left navigation, this little chat icon, you'll see the running list of all the conversations going on across projects. So again, if you click into any of these, that will take you directly into the chat. And then you can also add a new chat. So again, you can choose who you want to include. Let's start a chat. And then you can also manage it. So say you wanted to call this, the full team, you can update that there. And then you can start chatting. Running into all sorts of technical issues here. Let's see why that is not letting me type. Let's just send it to these two Katies, start chat. Okay, here we go. Let's meet for lunch at 12. Send a message to your team. And then you can also rename this if you wanted to call it, for instance, this is our full team, so everyone knows which chat to use. And then again, anyone who is tagged or in that chat will get notified as well, so they can go in either on desktop or on the app and then just reply super easily.
Amazing. I think when we can show also maybe the smaller view when you're in the project. So that's the bigger view, right? Oh, yeah, exactly.
There
so
we
that's
go. You're
yeah.
right. Yeah. So here, if we add that slash, then you can choose a proposal, for instance. Yes. And then that will send to your team. They can review it.
I think it's also worth noting that we added commenting on almost all our features. So if you're on mood boards, you have commenting. If you're on, on estimate, on proposals, on any document, on, of course, selection boards, but I think it used to be just on selection boards, and now it's really everywhere. So in addition to the team chat, you also have commenting everywhere. So let's say you're on a proposal, you want someone to review, right, that proposal before it's sent to the client. You want to make sure that your junior designer, right, is sending it over, so they can just click on comment right here, and then it's easy to just tag someone, please review, and you're gonna have, of course, you do it. You have a team thread, and you also have a client thread that's just, of course, very separate, but that's how you're going to be able to tag someone to review a document quickly, and they're going to be notified right away, and get your message and be able to reply and review.
Yeah.
Amazing. Should we, I don't see any questions, so I think let's move on to just show a little bit of the, just we wanted to mention that there's a Google Drive integration that's available as well.
Yes, absolutely. So again, when you're back in your project here under Files and Photos, we do have an integration with Google Drive. So again, this is really meant to help keep you all organized so you don't need to duplicate files or copy from one place into another. You can just link your Google Drive here, and then anything you have will show up in Houzz Pro. And you can also differentiate. So right now, all these files are showing from Houzz, but if you click specifically into Google Drive, you can see which folders there were added.
Awesome.
Any questions?
That's great. Any question or anything that we have a little bit of time? So I was thinking maybe if there's something else that we can cover that's not necessarily in the agenda that you want answers on, something that's not clear, just feel free to add it on the chat, the Q&A. We would love to help.
Yes, absolutely.
And then also in the meantime, I just wanted to point out that we have this great course from Davis Interior, who is based on their own experience of Houzz Pro. They created this course, really going feature by feature and explaining how it can really improve your everything, your efficiency, and they really show you so many tips and tricks. And it's great content by another designer. So if you want to learn from a fellow designer, they build that course. Feel free to just take that QR code. You can also write to us, and we'll be happy to put you up with them. But if you go and you select that QR code, you'll be able to just land on their site and learn more about the course that they're offering. Anything else? Any question?
Maybe there's one question, Shoshana, from Maureen. How can we modify a proposal that has already been saved?
Oh, that's a very good question. Let me share my screen and show you this. Okay, 1 sec. Share screen. Okay, I'm right here. I'm going to head over to this proposal. And that happens often I know I've been talking with designers so many times. Something is approved, but then something comes up, right? And maybe it's sent already. Maybe it's even approved already. So let's say this one. Let's look at this one, for example. It's shared. Maybe let's even say that it was approved. I'm just going to approve on behalf. So it was approved, but you want to be able to add something to the proposal because there is something else that came up. Or, for example, now you have a better idea of the shipping cost, right? As you're getting closer. So you're going to be able to just go here and reopen for editing. So when you reopen, the e-signature is going to be removed, and so is the approval, but you're going to be able to do it that way. And here I was showing you the customize. Here it's like what we have before. Something really cool that maybe some of you don't know about is the ability to set a default, right? If I want to set a default, right here, 45, it's going to be applied for everything. That's really cool. Here I'm looking at categories. Something else also is here. That's where you can change the document owner. It can be also really, really helpful if needed. The ability to also, you should have the ability to merge. For some reason, I'm not seeing it here. Maybe because, yeah, you have the ability to save as a template. I wonder why I'm not seeing merge proposal. Not sure. You can duplicate and edit to this project, to another project. Yeah. Let's say if I go into selection boards, yeah, it's always very easy to just select item or convert everything into proposal, right? You just do like this, and then you convert. Any other question? Can be anything. I see something else coming up. Okay, thank you. Of course, Maureen. Anything else? Feel free to let us know.
Yes, I can launch a quick poll as well. We would just love to hear if these trainings are helpful. Also, any other content, webinars, education, anything that would help you just feel more comfortable with Houzz Pro, please let us know.
And just, I see a question about tear sheets. Just to show you, you're gonna let's look at it together. So from the selection tracker, you can do it also from the selection boards as well. Let's go into it. Sorry, download tear sheet. And I'm going to be able to choose everything I want to share. So that's something I want to be able to share with my clients. So I'm not necessarily going to put all that information, right? So it's going to tell me. It's going to show in a second. I can put a specific name. Just here, I'm just going to do that. Oh, not sure why it's doing this. Okay. And based on the information that I chose to put, right? If I wanted all the information that I want, it's going to be right there. And I'm going to have my, the name of the tear sheet. Here it says room, my logo, everything is going to be branded, and all the items are going to be right there in this tear sheet. Oh, you're not looking at it. Sorry. Here. This is it. Sorry. So right here, right? It's PDF with all the item in the board with the information that I chose to share. And I can do that from the board right here. You see, I'm deciding to everything that I want to be able to share. I'm gonna be able to decide right there. Any other question?
Yes, one more around doing tile layouts or patterns for the flooring.
Are you, Jody, can you just say if you're talking about doing that in 3D, right? 3D for the flooring, if you can just specify that. And then maybe we can also launch the poll in the meantime. Did you open the poll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did the polls.
Jody, if you hear that question, are you talking about the 3D floor planner tool? I don't know if it was covered. I'm just going to also use that time to show you some cool things that might not have been covered or maybe you were not there the previous one. So let's go back. Let's look at.
Yes, Jody said in the 3D flooring or shower layouts.
Okay. So one second. I'm gonna pull it up. Just 1 second. I just want right here. Can you see the section board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very easy to add sections right here. Just want to point out you can just add section like this. And let's put tables here. Something that you can do is do Command V, Command C, depending if you're on a Mac, right? And just paste the URL in your board. Here, it's right here, and then we're gonna drag it. I can also do right here. I'm gonna press, and you're gonna be able to just add a URL. And you can keep working while we fetch the info, but this is going to be super helpful when you're sourcing. It's using our latest AI technology to really help you save so much time with sourcing. So you can do that with the URL. You can also do that when you're on your phone. You're going to be able to just, let's say you're at a showroom and there's a QR code there, and you're going to be able to take that link and then click on share and then select the Houzz Pro app, and from there you're going to be able to save items from your phone. That's something I wanted to show you, but let's go for a second to the 3D floor plan right here. You have the ability to, based on your clip items, it's taking a little bit of time to load, sorry. One sec. So if you go to my my products, any product that you clip, you're going to be able to convert that into 3D. That's going to really help with when you're communicating with your client, to help them visualize, to help them also really share also if it's easier to react to something usually, right? So you can create your 3D plans with like generic items just to give an idea of the layout early on, right? And see, okay, even before you select the items, if it's the what they have in mind, right? The right like sofas and the right shape for the sofas, etc. You're going to be able to do that. In addition, you can also bring in the specific items into your library, convert them into 3D, and add them into your plan. But you can also look, let's say, let's look at your, if I'm looking at the, here even, there was a tile. I'm going to just apply. Let's look at what I have. Here, I clip that item, I'm going to convert it into 3D. So you're going to be able to convert to 3D right here. And then you're going to be able to apply it. So it takes a few minutes. But it should just show right here. Is there any other question in the meantime? Even like if I want to do, let's say, looking at filter category flooring.
No other questions. If you're converting a finish, it doesn't pull from your credits. So for those of you who have already been converting products to 3D, you have a certain amount of credits, but you can convert finishes for free basically. So there's no limit to that.
It's just, yeah, it's just gonna, it takes a little bit of time to generate things. But here, I'm gonna review right here. Then it's gonna be important to put the right width and length. And then it's gonna tell you right there how you do it when you go into materials, my finishes, right? So 3D finishes here. One sec. Apply, and then I'm just gonna show you here for an example just quickly, but if I wanted, that would be like, I can do it right here. Right. And let's say it's going to be the same also for flooring as well. So let's say review, next. Yeah. Does it make sense? Any other question here? Okay. Okay, great. Awesome. So please fill out the poll and let us know if it was useful. If you'd like, you feel free to write in the chat if there is anything else that you would like us to cover in another webinar. And please also, if you have any question or any feedback, always feel free to share that feedback with us. I'm adding again in the chat my info, and we always love the feedback, so always, always feel free to just send an email, reach out if there is anything that we can help with.
Yes, thank you everyone so much. You will get this recording, I think, within the next 24 hours or so. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Quick question. Yeah, so there is a limit. So you have a certain number of credits, basically, depending on your plan type, but that resets every month. But there's no limit for finishes. So you can convert as many of those as you want. If you do find that you're running up against the limits and the credits, you can always reach out to your rep and see how you can increase those.